Are you doing everything right? You've cleaned out your pantry, you've swapped the chips for rice cakes, you're eating that healthy gluten-free toast, and you're grabbing a protein bar instead of a candy bar. But you're still not losing the weight. You're exhausted by 3 p.m., you feel hangry all the time, and worst of all, your doctor just looked at your lab work, shook their head, and said your blood sugar is still too high. What if I told you that the healthy food you're eating isn't just not helping, it is actively making things worse? What if I told you that the plain, boring diet rice cake and you're eating could be spiking your blood sugar faster and harder than a spoonful of pure sugar? I know how incredibly frustrating this is. It feels like a betrayal. You are following the rules and you are putting in the work, but your own body seems to be working against you. As a doctor who has spent my entire career helping patients reverse metabolic dysfunction and take back their health, this is the single most common and heartbreaking trap I see. It's the health halo effect. And it's sabotaging millions of well-intentioned people just like you. In this video, we are going to do a deep dive. This is going to be a masterclass. I am going to pull back the curtain on these and healthy foods and show you the shocking truth about what they are doing to your blood sugar and your hormones. We will break down the exact science of why this happens. I'll reveal the other healthy foods in your pantry right now that are sabotaging your progress. And most importantly, I am going to give you a clear, actionable plan. The exact swaps and strategies I give my own patients to break this cycle for good. So get a glass of water, maybe take some notes, and let's get started.
Section 1. The healthy food. Lie unmasking the villain, the first thing we need to do is name the primary culprit. This is the food that is the poster child for fake health, and that is the humble, plain, brown rice cake. For decades, we've been told this is the ultimate diet food. It's low-fat, low-calorie, it's crunchy, it's a whole grain. What could possibly be wrong with it? The problem isn't what's in it. The problem is what's been done to it. To understand this, you need to understand two crucial concepts: the glycemic index, GI dollars, and glycemic load, GL dollars. The glycemic index, GI dollars, is a simple score from 0 to 100 that measures how fast a specific food containing carbohydrates raises your blood sugar. Glucose. Pure glucose is the benchmark, with a GI dollars of $100. The glycemic load, GL dollars, is arguably even more important. It takes the GI dollar and multiplies it by the amount of carbohydrate in a serving. This gives you a picture of both the speed and the quantity of the sugar spike. Here's where the shock comes in. Let's look at the numbers. Table sugar, pure sucrose, has a GI dollars of about $65. A Snickers bar, full of chocolate, nuts, caramel, and nougat, has a GI dollars of around $51. A plain puffed rice cake. Its glycemic index can be as high as 91. Let me repeat that. The healthy, boring diet food spikes your blood sugar significantly faster and harder than pure table sugar. It spikes your blood sugar almost as fast as pure glucose itself. But doctor, you're probably asking, how is that possible? A Snickers bar is junk food. Here is the key. The Snickers bar, while full of sugar, is also full of fat and protein from the nuts and chocolate. That fat and protein act as brakes. They dramatically slow down how fast your stomach empties, which means the sugar from the bar drips into your bloodstream over a longer period. The rice cake, it has no brakes. It is what I call a naked carbohydrate. It's rice that has been puffed with high heat and pressure. This process, called extrusion, essentially pre-digests the starch. It shatters the grain's natural fibrous structure, making the starches, which are just long chains of glucose, instantly accessible. When you eat a rice cake, it hits your stomach and poof, it dissolves almost instantly into a rush of pure glucose. It is a carbohydrate dragster with no brakes, hitting your bloodstream at maximum velocity. So what happens next? Your body sees this massive, rapid flood of sugar as a 5-alarm fire. Your pancreas, a little organ behind your stomach, panics. It pumps out a huge surge of the hormone insulin to deal with this emergency. Insulin is the key. Its job is to get this toxic, high level of sugar out of your blood as fast as possible. It runs around, unlocks your muscle cells, and shoves the glucose in. But your muscles can only hold so much. What's left over? Insulin shoves that directly into your fat cells to be stored as body fat. But the story doesn't end there. Because the pancreas panicked and released so much insulin to deal with the speed of the spike, it overshoots. About 90 minutes to 2 hours later, all that insulin has done its job too well. It's cleared all the sugar, and then some. Your blood sugar plummets, crashing below baseline. This is called reactive hypoglycemia. And what does your brain feel when your blood sugar is low? It feels panic. It sends out powerful, undeniable signals. I'm starving. I'm irritable. I have brain fog. Feed me now, and I need more quick energy. So you crave more carbs, more sugar. You reach for another rice cake, or a cookie, or a healthy granola bar. And the entire vicious cycle, the spike, the crash, the craving, the fat storage, starts all over again. That rice cake didn't just fail to help you, it actively set you up for failure for the rest of the day. Section 2. The Science of the Spike. Why faster is worse than more. Now I really want to double-click on this idea of the speed of the spike. In my clinical practice, this is the single most misunderstood part of metabolic health. Most people are focused on calories, or even just the total grams of carbs, but they completely ignore the velocity of the glucose entering their system. A rapid spike is exponentially more damaging than a slow, gentle rise. Even if the total amount of carbs is the same, I want you to think of your bloodstream like a bathtub. Your body is very, very good at managing a slow drip faucet of glucose, the kind you get from eating broccoli or nuts or beans. The drain, your insulin and muscle cells, can easily handle that slow, steady stream. The water level, your blood sugar, stays perfectly stable. But when you eat a high GI dollar food like a rice cake, you are turning on a fire hose and pointing it into the tub. It overflows instantly. That overflow is what causes the damage. It's not just a number on a glucose meter. It's a state of profound, acute, biological stress. What does this overflow do? Two specific destructive things happen: oxidative stress and glycation. First, oxidative stress. When your cell's power plants, the mitochondria, are suddenly flooded with more fuel, glucose, than they can possibly handle at one time, the system overheats. It's like flooring the gas pedal on your car while it's in park. The engine backfires, sputtering out a massive cloud of exhaust. In your cells, this exhaust is a burst of free radicals, also called reactive oxygen species, or ROS. These are highly unstable molecules that are like shrapnel bouncing around inside your body. They damage everything they touch. They blast the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, which is the very first step in the formation of plaque and heart disease. They damage your DNA, which can lead to mutations. They damage your cell membranes. This rapid spike is, quite literally, an inflammatory event. Second, and perhaps even more sinister, is the process of glycation. This is a word you need to know. Glycation is, quite simply, the caramelization of your body. When sugar molecules are floating around in your blood, they are sticky. At high concentrations, like during one of these fire hose spikes, they will randomly slam into and permanently stick to proteins in your body. This glycated protein is now damaged. It's stiff, dysfunctional, and creates inflammation. The most famous example of this is your HbA1c test. That's your glycated hemoglobin. It's a measure of how much sugar has gotten stuck to your red blood cells over the last 3 months. It's a beautiful test because it gives us a long-term picture. But this isn't just happening to your hemoglobin, it's happening everywhere. When sugar sticks to the collagen in your skin, you get wrinkles and stiffness. When it sticks to the proteins in the lens of your eye, you get cataracts. When it sticks to the proteins in your nerves, you get peripheral neuropathy. When it sticks to the proteins in your brain, it contributes to the plaque buildup seen in Alzheimer's disease. A faster spike means a higher concentration of sugar in your blood at one time. This high concentration dramatically accelerates the rate of these random, destructive, sticky collisions. A slow, gentle curve from a handful of berries allows your body to use the sugar, keeping the concentration low and minimizing the collateral damage of glycation. So, when you choose that rice cake, you are not just choosing a low-calorie snack. You are choosing a path of accelerated aging, inflammation, and chronic disease. The speed of that spike is the real, hidden danger. Section 3. The gluten-free trap and other hidden spikers. I can see some of you thinking, okay, doctor, I get it. Rice cakes are out. But I'm good. I switched to healthy gluten-free bread and my morning bowl of heart-healthy whole-grain cereal. I'm afraid I have some more bad news. The same flawed logic that made us believe rice cakes were healthy has created an entire aisle of other, equally problematic, health foods. The food industry is brilliant at marketing, and their greatest trick is the health halo, using one good word on the package to make you ignore the nutritional disaster inside. Let's start with the biggest trap of all, the gluten-free trap. Sometime in the last decade, gluten-free became synonymous with healthy in the public mind. Now, let me be perfectly clear. If you have celiac disease or a diagnosed non-celiac gluten sensitivity, avoiding gluten is essential for your health. But for the vast majority of the population, gluten-free as a marketing label is a disaster for metabolic health. Here's why. Gluten is a protein. It's what gives bread its chewy, elastic, satisfying texture. When you remove that protein, you have to replace it with something to make the bread, cracker, or pasta hold together. What do they replace it with? A highly processed blend of the cheapest, highest glycemic starches on the planet. White rice flour, GI Japrox $85-95. Potato starch, GI Haprox $95. Tapioca starch, GI Haprox $85. Do you see the problem? To avoid the protein, gluten from wheat, which has a GI dollars of around 74, manufacturers have swapped in a Frankenstein mix of pure, fiberless, protein-less starches that are even worse for your blood sugar than the original wheat product. That healthy, gluten-free bagel or muffin is, quite literally, one of the most effective glucose-spiking agents you can legally buy. It is nutritionally vacant. It has no fiber, no protein, no healthy fats. It is, by definition, a naked carb of the most extreme variety. In my clinic, it is not uncommon at all for me to see a new patient who decided to get healthy by going gluten-free, and they have gained 15 pounds and are now pre-diabetic. They fell for the gluten-free trap. They swapped a whole wheat bread, which at least has some fiber and protein breaks, for a hyper-processed starch bomb that sends their blood sugar and insulin on that same spike-and-crash roller coaster day after day. The second culprit in this aisle is your healthy breakfast cereal and granola. The marketing is so compelling. Heart healthy, good source of fiber, made with whole grains. Let's look at what they're really made of. That heart-healthy cereal is often cornflakes, puffed rice, or puffed wheat. What did we learn about puffing? It's the same process used on rice cakes. It's extrusion, a process that shatters the whole grain and makes its starches hyper-available, jacking up the GI dung. Then, to make it palatable, they coat it in sugar. Honey, organic cane juice, agave nectar, brown rice syrup. It doesn't matter what natural name they give it, it's all sugar. So, A bowl of healthy cereal with low-fat milk, which is just sugar water itself in the form of lactose, is a breakfast of carbs on top of carbs, covered in sugar. It is metabolically no different from starting your day with a bowl of Skittles. You are guaranteeing a massive 9 a.m. glucose spike, a 10:30 a.m. energy crash, and a desperate craving for more quick energy, like a bagel or muffin, just to make it to lunch. You have started your day by losing the metabolic game. Section 4. The Protein Bar. Deception. How health is hiding sugar. This next one really frustrates me because it targets people who are actively trying to do the right thing. They're at the gym, they're on the go, and they think they're making a smart choice by grabbing a protein bar. The word protein itself creates the strongest health halo of all. You think, this is good for my muscles, this will keep me full, this is a healthy snack. But I'm here to tell you that the vast majority of protein bars on the market are nothing more than candy bars with a PhD in marketing. They are health camouflage for a brick of sugar and processed ingredients. Let's dissect one. Turn over that healthy bar and look at the ingredients list, not the flashy numbers on the front. What is the first ingredient? I can almost guarantee you it's not protein. The first ingredient, meaning the ingredient in the largest quantity, is almost always a syrup. Brown rice syrup. This sounds natural, right? It's brown rice. Brown rice syrup has a glycemic index of 98. It is functionally identical to mainlining pure glucose. It is worse than sugar, tapioca syrup. Again, sounds innocent. It's just a plant. This is another hyper-processed, high GI dull sugar agave nectar. This was the health darling of the 2000s. It's low glycemic. That's true, but for a sinister reason. Agave is 80–90% fructose. Fructose doesn't spike your blood glucose because it's not glucose, but it has to be processed directly by your liver. Your liver cannot handle that massive fructose load, so it does the only thing it can. It immediately turns it into fat, specifically triglycerides. This is a direct pathway to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. Date paste. Dates are a wonderful whole food. As a whole food. When you eat 1 or 2 dates, you get fiber. When they are pulverized and concentrated into a paste to act as the entire binder for a 50-gram bar, you are eating a massive load of sugar, glucose and fructose. So, right off the bat, the foundation of this protein bar is a high-speed sugar. Next, let's talk about the net carb lie. You'll see this on the front. Only 3G net carbs. This is a marketing term, not a regulated medical term. The calculation is typically total carbohydrates minus fiber minus sugar alcohols. This is deeply deceptive. First, not all fiber is created equal, and some processed additive fibers, like inulin or chicory root fiber, can cause severe bloating and gas, and their effect on slowing sugar absorption is not as potent as the intrinsic fiber in a real, whole food. But the real deception is with sugar alcohols. Your body does absorb some of them, erythritol. This one is generally okay. It has a GI dolus of 0,2 or 1, is not really metabolized, and is mostly non-problematic, though can cause GI upset for some. Maltitol. This is the big one. It's cheap, it's sweet, and it's in everything, low sugar. Maltitol has a glycemic index of 35 to 50. It absolutely does raise your blood sugar, and it's notorious for causing terrible digestive distress. So that bar claiming 3G net carbs might have 20 grams of maltitol, which is functionally adding another 10 grams of sugar equivalent to your spike. But they get to legally hide that from you on the front of the package. When I look at these bars in my practice, I tell my patients to ignore net carbs completely. Look at the total carbs, look at the total sugar, and most importantly, read the ingredients. If the first ingredient is a syrup, or if you see maltitol, or if you see rice flour or tapioca starch in there, put it back. It's not a health food, it's a dessert that's lying to you. Section 5. The metabolic damage of the spike and crash cycle. We've unmasked the villains, the rice cakes, the gluten-free starches, the cereals, the deceptive protein bars. But I need you to understand what is really at stake here. This isn't just about feeling hangry in the afternoon or not being able to lose those last 10 pounds. Eating these foods day after day and forcing your body to endure that spike and crash cycle is the direct pathway to the most common and most preventable diseases of our time. We are talking about insulin resistance. This is the root cause. Type 2 diabetes is just the end stage of a decades-long process of insulin resistance. But so is fatty liver disease, NAFLD, hypertension, high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, high triglycerides, low HDL, many forms of dementia, and even certain cancers. Let's walk through exactly what happens. I'm going to use an analogy I use with all my patients. Think of your cells, especially your muscle cells, as a house. The front door has a lock. That lock is the insulin receptor, and insulin is the key. Glucose, sugar, is the visitor, your energy, who wants to get inside. In a healthy, normal body, what we call insulin sensitive, here's how it works. You eat a healthy meal, e.g., salmon and broccoli. Glucose slowly rises in your blood. The visitor arrives on the sidewalk. Your pancreas releases a small, appropriate amount of insulin. A few keys. The insulin key gently unlocks the receptor door. The glucose visitor enters the cell, is used for energy, and everyone is happy. Your blood sugar goes back to normal. Now here is what happens when you eat a rice cake or a bowl of cereal. You eat the high GI debao food, a massive flood of glucose, a mob of 100 visitors, rushes the sidewalk all at once. Your pancreas panics. It screams, "We're being overwhelmed," and releases a fire hose of insulin, thousands of keys. The insulin keys jam the locks, frantically trying to get the doors open to clear the mob from the street. This is acute stress. Now imagine you do this every day. Breakfast, cereal, spike, snack, rice cake, spike, lunch, gluten-free sandwich, spike, snack, healthy, protein bar, spike. Your poor doorbell, the insulin receptor, is being screamed at all day, every day. What do you do when someone screams at you all the time? You stop listening. Your cells do the same thing. They become deaf to the signal. The lock gets gummed up. This is insulin resistance. Now you are in a deeply dangerous paradoxical state. Your pancreas is still screaming, pumping out more and more insulin, this is called hyperinsulinemia, trying to get the deaf cells to listen. But the cells are not listening. The glucose cannot get in. So now you have high blood glucose, the mob is stuck on the street, and high blood insulin, the keys are scattered everywhere, at the same time. This is the state of pre-diabetes, and your body hates this. That high insulin has other jobs. It's a growth and storage hormone. So that massive level of insulin does two things. It shoves all that excess glucose into your liver, which is forced to convert it into fat, triglycerides. This is how you get non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Your liver literally becomes fatty from eating carbs, not fat. It screams at your fat cells, "Store, store, store." And even more importantly, it locks the out door of your fat cells. When insulin is high, you are biologically incapable of burning stored body fat for fuel. This is the paradox that drives my patients mad. They are starving and exhausted because their cells, their house, can't get the energy, glucose, they need. But they are gaining weight because that lost energy is being diverted straight into their fat cells. This is not a calorie problem. This is a hormone problem. It's a signaling problem. And it is a problem that starts with that healthy rice cake. Section 6. The one swap. You need to make, and the principle behind it. At this point, you're probably feeling overwhelmed. You might be looking at your pantry with a sense of dread. You're thinking, "Doctor, you've taken everything away. What can I eat?" This is the most important part. This is where we turn from the problem to the solution. The solution is not about deprivation, it's about swapping. It's about eating smarter. The one swap promised in the title isn't just stop eating rice cakes. The real swap, the principle I want you to burn into your memory, is this. You must swap your naked processed carbohydrates for foods with breaks. That's it. That's the secret. What are the breaks? We already mentioned them. The breaks are the three magic macronutrients: protein, fat, and fiber. Any food, any snack, any meal you ever eat should have at least two, and ideally all three, of these breaks present. These are the things that slow down that fire hose and turn it back into a manageable drip faucet. Fiber. Fiber is your first line of defense. It's the net or sponge in your digestive system. It forms a thick gel-like substance, soluble fiber, or adds bulk, insoluble fiber, that physically traps sugar molecules, forcing them to be absorbed slowly and steadily. This is the antidote to the processed carb. Protein. Protein is a powerful brake because it takes a long time to digest. It also triggers the release of hormones like glucagon, which helps to balance insulin. And as a bonus, it's the most satiating macronutrient. It's what makes you feel full and satisfied in a way carbs never can. Fat. Healthy fat is the most powerful brake in your arsenal. It takes the longest to digest. It significantly slows down gastric emptying, the rate at which food leaves your stomach and enters your small intestine, where the sugar is absorbed. This is why the Snickers bar had a lower GI dollars than the rice cake. The fat was its accidental saving grace. So let's put this principle into practice. Let's rebuild your snack time. The swap in practice. Swap this. 1 plain rice cake, total naked carb, GI naprox $91. For this, good. An apple, a carb, but with its natural intrinsic fiber, GI naprox $36. For this, better. An apple, carb plus fiber, with a large handful of walnuts, carb plus fiber plus protein plus fat. For this, best. 2 hard-boiled eggs, or a handful of almonds and pecans. Almost all protein and fat. This is a stabilizing snack, not a spiking one. Do you see the difference? The apple with walnuts is a delicious, satisfying snack that will give you slow, steady energy for hours. The rice cake gives you 60 minutes of energy, followed by a craving for more. Let's apply this to your other healthy foods. Swap this. The bowl of healthy cereal or granola. For this, my metabolic stability bowl. Start with a base of 3-4 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. This is your protein and fat base. Add 1 to 4 cup of mixed berries, like raspberries or blueberries, for a small amount of low GI dollars carb, but lots of fiber. Add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds or ground flaxseed, a fiber and fat powerhouse. Add 1 tablespoon of almond butter, more protein and fat. This bowl is a powerhouse of breaks. It will keep your blood sugar rock solid and your brain sharp all morning. Swap this, that deceptive sugary protein bar. For this, a true protein-fat snack, a high-quality beef jerky stick, read the label, make sure it has 0 to 1 g of sugar, a small can of wild-caught tuna or salmon, a bar where the first ingredient is almonds or whey protein isolate, and the total sugar is less than 5 grams and no maltitol. Or just eat real food, a small avocado with salt, a slice of cheese, or a handful of olives. The goal is to stop thinking low-calorie and start thinking hormonally balancing. Stop thinking low-fat and start thinking add breaks. This one, simple shift in perspective, will change everything for you. Section 7. My 3-step plan to stabilize your blood sugar. Today, we've done the what and the why. We've done the swaps. Now, I want to give you the exact 3-step action plan I give to my patients. These are non-negotiable, evidence-based strategies that will start to heal your insulin resistance and stabilize your blood sugar today. This is how you take back control. Step 1. Never eat a naked carb. This is the rule we just learned. but I want to elevate it to a law for your life. From this day forward, you will never eat a carbohydrate food by itself. You will dress your carbs with their breaks, protein, fat, or fiber. If you're going to have a piece of fruit, you will have it with a handful of nuts. If you're going to have a piece of real sourdough bread, you will slather it in almond butter or avocado. If you're going to eat rice or potatoes with your dinner, you will never eat them first. This leads to a fascinating clinical pearl called food sequencing. The order in which you eat your food matters profoundly. Studies from Weill Cornell Medical College and others have shown this in stunning detail. If you give two groups of people the exact same meal, say chicken, salad, and bread, but you have one group eat the bread first, and the other group eat the salad and chicken first, and the bread last, the results are staggering. The group that ate the protein and fiber-rich vegetables before the carbohydrate had a 30 to 40% lower post-meal glucose spike and a significantly lower insulin response. Think about that. The same food. A completely different metabolic reaction just by changing the order. So the rule is, breaks first, carbs last. Eat your salad, fiber, fat from dressing, and your steak, protein, fat, first. Take your time. Then, if you still want it, have the potato or the rice. The breaks are already in your system, lining up to slow down the absorption of that carb. This is a game changer. Step 2. Move your body for 10 minutes after you eat. This is my favorite biohack because it's free, it's easy, and it's incredibly effective. I'm not asking you to run a marathon after dinner. I am asking you to go for a simple 10 to 15-minute walk after your largest meal of the day. Here's the physiology. After you eat, that glucose is rising in your bloodstream. Your pancreas is getting ready to release insulin to open the doors to your cells. But your large skeletal muscles, like your glutes, quads, and hamstrings, have a back door. When you contract your muscles, even in a gentle walk, you trigger a special glucose transporter called GLUT4-DOLAs. These GLUT4-DOLA transporters can move to the surface of your muscle cells and pull glucose out of your bloodstream without needing insulin. It's a VIP entrance for glucose. You are physically soaking up that blood sugar with your muscles before it can rise to a level that requires a big, damaging insulin spike. Just 10 minutes of walking, a set of air squats, or even washing the dishes and moving around your kitchen can lower your post-meal glucose peak by 20 to 30%. This is powerful. You are doing the work that insulin would normally have to do, giving your pancreas a rest and resensitizing your cells. Step 3. Rethink your breakfast. This is the most important meal of the day to get right. How you start your day sets your metabolic compass for the next 24 hours. If you start your day with that carb bomb we discussed, cereal, toast, a bagel, orange juice, a healthy muffin, you are guaranteeing a blood sugar roller coaster. You are starting that spike and crash cycle from the moment you wake up. My clinical recommendation is unequivocal. Your breakfast must be a savory meal focused on protein and fat. When you do this, you start your day in a state of metabolic stability. You teach your body from go that it is in a safe, nourished state, and it should burn its own stored fat for fuel. This is called metabolic flexibility. You will not get that 10 a.m. crash. You will not be hangry. You will have steady, clean energy and crystal clear focus all morning. What does this look like? 3 eggs scrambled with spinach and avocado, a high-quality protein smoothie, whey or plant protein powder, unsweetened almond milk, 2 TBSP chia seeds, 1 4-cup berries, and a handful of spinach, leftover chicken and broccoli from last night's dinner. Yes, eat dinner for breakfast. Your body doesn't care what time it is. The metabolic stability bowl of Greek yogurt, seeds, and berries I mentioned earlier. If you make just this one change, swapping your carb-based breakfast for a protein and fat-based breakfast, I promise you, you will feel like a different person within 3 days. Section 8. The bigger picture, beyond food, sleep, and stress. We have spent this entire deep dive focusing on food, and for good reason. It is the most powerful lever you can pull to manage your blood sugar. But I would not be doing my job as your doctor if I let you walk away thinking it's the only lever. You can have the perfect diet. You can throw out every rice cake. You can eat a protein-first breakfast. You can walk after every meal. But if your sleep and your stress are a disaster, your blood sugar will still be high. I need you to see your body as a holistic system. Think of it as a finely tuned orchestra. Food is the music being played. Sleep is the conductor. It keeps everything in rhythm. Stress is the noise from the audience. It disrupts the entire performance. If the conductor is asleep, or the crowd is screaming, it doesn't matter how good the music is. The performance will fail. Let's start with sleep. Sleep is not a passive off state. It is an active, critical period of hormonal repair and resetting. When you cheat sleep, you are cheating your metabolism. The science on this is terrifyingly clear. A study from the University of Chicago took a group of healthy, young adults and restricted their sleep to just 4 or 5 hours for one night. The next morning, their insulin sensitivity was so poor they were metabolically indistinguishable from a type 2 diabetic. One night. How? When you are sleep-deprived, 2 things happen. Your body floods with the stress hormone cortisol the next morning. Cortisol's primary job is to raise your blood sugar. It's an ancient danger signal. It tells your liver to dump all of its stored sugar, glycogen, into your bloodstream to prepare you to fight or flee. So you wake up with already high blood sugar before you've even eaten a bite. Your cells themselves become acutely insulin resistant. They hunker down in this perceived state of crisis. So you start the day with high blood sugar, and then when you do eat, even a healthy meal, your deaf cells can't hear the insulin, leading to an even bigger spike. As if that's not bad enough, poor sleep destroys your hunger hormones. It increases ghrelin, the I'm hungry hormone, think gremlin in your stomach. It decreases leptin, the I'm full and satisfied hormone. This is why, when you're tired, you don't crave salmon and broccoli. You crave donuts, pizza, and ice cream. Your biology is screaming at you to find the fastest, densest source of quick energy, because it truly believes you are in a survival crisis. You must prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. It is a non-negotiable part of blood sugar management. Finally, let's talk about chronic stress. Your body has one alarm system. It cannot tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger trying to eat you and a toxic email from your boss. In both cases, it triggers the fight or flight response, dominated by cortisol and adrenaline. As we just discussed, what does cortisol do? It raises your blood sugar. If you are chronically stressed, a bad relationship, financial worries, a job you hate, you are chronically bathing your body in cortisol. This means your blood sugar is chronically elevated, forcing your pancreas to work overtime all the time to produce insulin to fight this stress-induced sugar spike. This is a direct, independent pathway to insulin resistance, even if your diet is perfect. You cannot out-eat a life of chronic, unmanaged stress. You must have a non-negotiable practice to manage it. This is not woo-woo. This is a direct, physiological intervention to lower your cortisol and, therefore, lower your blood sugar. This can be a 10-minute meditation practice. This can be a 20-minute walk in nature without your phone. This can be a yoga class. My favorite, and the one I give to all my patients, is simple, structured breathing. Just 5 minutes. Inhale for 5 seconds. Hold for a second. And a long, slow exhale for 7 seconds. This long exhale actively down-regulates your sympathetic, fight or flight, nervous system and activates your parasympathetic, rest and digest, nervous system. It is a direct signal to your body that you are safe. The tiger is gone. When you combine these pieces, when you fix your food by adding breaks, when you fix your movement by walking after meals, and when you fix your environment by managing sleep and stress, you are not just managing your blood sugar. You are healing the root cause. You are rebuilding your metabolic health from the ground up.
We have covered a lot today. My goal was not to scare you, but to empower you with the truth. The healthy foods that have been betraying you are built on a low-fat, low-calorie lie. The real key to metabolic health is controlling your hormones, and you do that by controlling your blood sugar spikes. If you remember only 2 things from this entire video, let them be these. Stop trusting health halos. Read the ingredients list, not the marketing on the front. If it's a puffed starch, a syrup, or a gluten-free flour, it is not your friend. Never, ever eat a naked carb again. Dress every carbohydrate with its breaks: protein, fat, and fiber. This single principle will change your life. If you found this video helpful, if it clarified years of confusion for you, please share it with someone and you care about. Your friend, your parent, your coworker. You might just give them the piece of information they need to finally take back their health. It could change their life. And please, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I release new, in-depth, science-backed videos every single week to help you cut through the noise and build a life of real, lasting health. Now, I want to hear from you. This is where the consultation continues. What is the one healthy food you have been eating that you now suspect might be the culprit behind your blood sugar roller coaster? Let me know in the comments below. What are you swapping out? What questions do you have? I will do my best to answer as many as I can. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. Your health is your greatest asset. It's time to protect it.